හරිම සුදුයි.
Tonight on First at 9, this Monday, the 4th of March 2024. Tariff reduced. PUCSL announces 21.9% reduction in electricity tariff at its largest revision. Religious places and charitable organizations to also receive a concession. Legislature update. President Ranil Wickremesinghe commends the enactment of 42 laws that were passed in Parliament. Another 62 new laws to be presented for enactment.
ගිය මාස 14 නීති 42ක් ගෙනල්ලා තියෙනවා. සම්මත කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒක වාර්තාවක්. දැන් නීතිපතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රශ්නේ ඉතුරු එක. ඉතුරු 62 කොහොමද ඉදිරිපත්?
Rescue efforts. 8 of 56 Sri Lankans rescued from a Myanmar terrorist camp. Sri Lankan mission in effort to release the remaining 48. Health controversy. Former Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saman Ratnayaka, makes a private video record submission to the magistrate as investigations continue into the health scandal.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දෙනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
From Ada Derana, this is Ada Derana First at 9 with Indivari Amuata and Mahish Johnny. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
A very good evening, everyone. Welcome to First at 9, where we bring you the latest from here at home, all across the world. Whether sports, anything that matters to you, we bring you right here at First at 9. A very good evening indeed.
A very good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you joining us from at home or whether on mobile. We have a number of stories to relate to you. Of course, it's Monday, the first day of the week, and you will be seeing us throughout this week again. The match is ongoing.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, we welcome your suggestions. The match is ongoing. The first
Indeed.
T20 between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Bangladesh is currently 180 for 5 in response to Sri Lanka's 206 for 3. They need about 27 runs in 14 balls. It's really exciting currently. And there are some important stories to discuss tonight in terms of the local news.
Yeah, exactly. Some good news. Electricity tariffs have gone down.
21.9%.
Exactly.
Interesting. Especially concerning the timing of.
Exactly. So I keep go back to this election factor. Is it because of this? Are we going back into our olden days when an election is coming, all these tariffs keeps coming, and no sooner the election is done, it keeps going up again. Are we going to see something similar or something different?
And also some political parties say they will decide on the presidential election whether to contest or not, depending on what's happening now. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna is also expecting their national organizer Basil Rajapaksa to return to the island.
And lots of more other stories to bring to you. So let's begin our broadcast tonight. We begin with a story from the President himself. Now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe revealed that over the past 14 months, Parliament has enacted 42 new laws to facilitate the country's economic transformation and further stress the necessity to pass an additional 62 laws for the same.
Speaking at a dialogue on legal framework, the President went on to announce that a new legal framework would be established to pave the way towards a modern economic fostering economic growth.
He also highlighted that the general election will not be postponed in any way in order to pass new laws proposed to be introduced in the near future.
The dialogue themed What's New on legal reforms was held yesterday at the BMICH under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
විස්ස විසි දෙකේ අපේ රජයේ ආදායම දළදේශය නිෂ්පාදනයෙන් 8.3යි. අපි විස්ස විසිතුනේ 10.9ක් කළා. ඒකෙන් අපේ දළදේශය නිෂ්පාදනයේ වර්ධනයක් සිදුුනේ නෑ. පින 2%යි. මේ අවුරුද්දයි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා 13.1ක් කරන්න. ඒකට දළදේශීය නිෂ්පාදනයේ වර්ධනයක් ඇති වෙනවා. 2028 වෙනකොට අපිට එහෙනම් 15.2ක් බවට යන්න තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ 8.3 ඉඳන් 15 කියන්නේ ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම 175ක් විතර අපි වැඩි කටයුතු කරගෙන යනවා. ඉතින් විශේෂයෙන්ම පළවෙනි වතාවට අපේ ප්‍රාථමික ණයවැයෙන් 2023 6.7ක අතිරික්තයක් ලැබුණා. අපිට ඒක 2.3 වෙනකන් ගෙනියන්න තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අයවැය හිඟය 2022 10.2යි. අපි ඒක 2028 වෙනකොට 3.9කට ගෙනියන්න තියෙනවා. අපේ ණය 2022 දළදේශීය නිෂ්පාදනයෙන් 128යි. අපි 2027 2032 වෙනකොට ඒකට දළදේශීය නිෂ්පාදනයේ 95ක් බවට පත් කරන්න තියෙනවා. 2022 ගිය අපි IMF ගිවිසුමට දැන් ගිය මාස 14 නීති 42ක් ගෙනල්ලා තියෙනවා. සම්මත කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒක වාර්තාවක්. දැන් නීතිපතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රශ්නේ ඉතුරු එක. ඉතුරු 62 කොහොමද ඉදිරිපත්? නෑ ඒකට පාර්ලිමේන්තුව ඡන්ද කල් දාන්නේ නෑ. මෙහාට බැරිව ඊළඟ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට දාන්න සිදු වෙනවා. එතනින් අපි ගියොත් ඊළඟ අවුරුදු කිහිපය තුළදී සම්පූර්ණ අලුත් ආර්ථිකයක් ඇති වෙන අලුත් නීති සෙට් එකක්. අපි සම්පූර්ණ රාජ්‍ය ආයතන වල ව්‍යුහ වෙනස් කරනවා. වාණිජ්‍ය ආයතන වල. සංස්ථා නැහැ. රජයේ තියාගන්න ආයතන සියල්ල සංස්ථා සියල්ලම සමාගම් බවට පත් කරනවා. ඒ සමාගම් වල කොටස් සියල්ලම ප්‍රධාන සමාගමක හෝල්ඩින් කම්පැනි එකට බාර දෙනවා රජයේ. එහෙනම් වාණිජ්‍ය ක්‍රමය අනුව ගෙනියන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ. සමාගම් පනතේ පොදු සමාගම් වල අධ්‍යක්ෂවරුන්ට තියෙන වගකීම් මෙයට සිදුවේ. වැරද්දක් කරොත් දඬුවම් කරන්න පුළුවන්, සිරේ යවන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම රාජ්‍ය පුද්ගලික හවුල් ව්‍යාපාර ගැන නීති ගේනවා. public private law. අලුතෙන් ගේනවා පොදු මූල්‍ය කළමනාකාර පනතක්. public finance management. පොදු ණය කළමනාකාර පනතක්. public debt management. ඊළඟට තවත් කොටසක් තමයි ආර්ථික හා ජාත්‍යන්තර වෙළඳ ආයතනය. මේ ගැන උපදෙස් දෙන්න. ඒක නීතියක්. දැන් කතා කරන්න ඕන තරම් වැඩ කටයුතු කරන්න ඕන විදිහට ඡන්දෙ දෙන්න. ඒත් මේ තියෙන පරිවර්තනයේ සිදු වෙන්න ඕනේ.
Efforts of the Sri Lankan government in collaboration with the Myanmari government led to the successful rescue of 8 of the 56 Sri Lankan nationals forcibly detained as cyber slaves at the terrorist camp in Mayawadi in Myanmar.
Now, addressing the matter, Sri Lankan ambassador to Myanmar, Janaka Priyantha Bandara, said that efforts are underway to ensure the safe repatriation of the remaining 48 Sri Lankan victims forcibly detained at the terrorist camp. Now, a group of 56 Sri Lankan nationals were taken into terrorist captivity in late December last year.
Now, a detainee at the camp revealed to Ada Derana that the conditions there are intolerable and that it is impossible to live at the terrorist camp, and called for measures to repatriate all Sri Lankans in distress.
Previously in December, Adidarana reported a story about a group of 56 Sri Lankan nationals who were lured on tourist visas behind the false front of lucrative job offers in the IT sector and were trafficked to Myanmar through its border with Thailand. It was revealed that the group of Sri Lankan nationals in question were forcibly a detainee at the terrorist camp spoke to Adidarana on the present situation at the camp.
මම දැන් මෙහෙට ඇවිල්ලා මාස දෙකමාරක් විතර වෙනවා. මෙහි වැඩගෙන කිව්වොත් ඇත්තටම මිනිස්සු මරවල වැඩ ගන්න. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපිට කරන්න බැරි වැඩ අපි කරන්න කැමති නැති වැඩ තමයි මෙතනින් කරන්නේ. අපෙන් ලොකු ගාණක් ගත්තා එන්න මෙහෙට. ඇත්තට මෙහි ඉන්න එක ජීවත් වෙනවා කියන්නේ මාර අමාරුයි. මම නම් කියන්නේ ලංකාවේ ඉන්න ඔක්කොම කට්ටිය එක්මන්ට ගන්නයි කියලා.
Subsequently, the government of Sri Lanka commenced diplomatic negotiations with the government of Myanmar in order to pave the way for their rescue. As a result of said diplomatic negotiations between the two nations, 8 of 56 Sri Lankan nationals under terrorist captivity at the camp in Mayawadi were freed this morning with the intervention of the security forces of Myanmar. The 8 rescued victims are G. D. Niroshan Damit Fernando, L. Vishala Bilasha De Silva, P. Tharindu Lakmal Pereira, E. S. Ranisha Anuradhi Disanayaka, K. Tharindu Sandaruwan, W. G. Malsha Divyanjali, R. B. R. Viraj Priyadarshana and D. M. Tharindu Lakmal. These 8 Sri Lankan nationals are being held under the protection and custody of the Mayawadi police. Sri Lankan ambassador to Myanmar, Janaka Bandara, meanwhile confirmed that security forces of Myanmar are continuing to further intervene in efforts to free the remaining 48 Sri Lankan nationals under terrorist captivity.
8 from the 56 victims who were illegally detained in Miyawadi, Myanmar, were rescued by the Myanmar authorities today morning. Now they are in the legal custody of Myanmar police in Miyawadi Central Police Station. So they will be repatriated very soon after the consultations and the immigration clearance. Responding a special request letter from President Ranil Wickremesinghe to Myanmar Prime Minister, the rescue operation was done by the Myanmar military this morning. So the rest of the victims will be rescued in due course by the Myanmar authorities.
In our developing story, Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saman Ratnayake, who was arrested on Friday, the 1st of March, over the immunoglobulin in scandal, provided a confidential statement today regarding the case. Dr. Ratnayake expressed his willingness to provide a confidential statement with only the President, or rather presiding magistrate, in attendance, and recorded on video during a court session on Saturday, where the case over the procurement, supply and distribution of the controversial medicine was taken up.
The Criminal Investigation Department arrested Dr. Ratnayake on Friday evening after recording his statement for over 7 hours regarding the substandard human intravenous immunoglobulin procurement. Following his arrest, the court issued an order remanding Dr. Ratnayake till the 14th of March based on facts presented by the Deputy Solicitor General when he was produced before the Malikakanda Magistrates Court on Saturday. The Deputy Solicitor General requested the court to name Dr. Ratnayake as the 10th suspect in the case alleging misappropriation of government funds. During the court proceedings, Dr. Ratnayake, through his lawyer, expressed his willingness to provide a confidential statement before the magistrate. The magistrate granted permission for the move and ordered the suspect to appear before the court today to provide the confidential statement. Accordingly, Dr. Saman Ratnayake was brought back to the Malikakanda Magistrates Court this morning per his request at around 9:15 a.m. and was then taken back to the Mahara prison.
Now, the government yesterday issued an extraordinary Gaset declaring all services related to the supply of electricity and the supply and distribution of petroleum products and fuel as essential services. Now, the Gaset issued by the Secretary to the President, Saman Ekanayake, by order of the President, Ranil Wickremesinghe, will take effect from the 3rd of March 2024. The proclamation states that all services connected to the supply of electricity and supply or distribution of petroleum products and fuel are essential to the life of the community and must not be interrupted or impeded, and therefore have been declared as essential services.
Welcome back to the news. The Public Utilities Commission earlier this evening announced that electricity tariffs will be reduced with effect from midnight tonight.
Well, accordingly, the domestic electricity tariff has been reduced by 21.9%.
Religious places will also receive a 33% tariff concession.
And industries are also slated to receive an 18% electricity tariff concession as well.
Following the electricity tariff hike of 18% in October of last year, Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Wijesekara repeatedly expressed confidence that with the subsequent rains that followed, the tariff would see a downward revision. With the latest data tallied by the Power and Energy Ministry, the revised electricity tariff by the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka announces a 21.9% reduction in electricity costs at the latest revision. Accordingly, the current fee of 12 rupees per unit has been reduced to 8 rupees in relation to the first 30 units of the domestic category. The monthly fee of that category will also be reduced by 30 rupees from 180 rupees to 150 rupees. From 31 to 60 units, the fee of 30 rupees per unit has been reduced to 20 rupees. Its monthly charge will come down by 60 rupees and its new charge will be 300 rupees. In the category of 61 to 90 units, the fee of 41 rupees per unit will be reduced to 30 rupees. Its monthly fee has also been reduced by 80 rupees to 400 rupees. The fee of 59 rupees charged per unit from 91 to 120 units has also been reduced to 50 rupees, and the new month the fee of 59 rupees charged per unit from 91 to 120 units has also been reduced to 50 rupees, and the new monthly fee is 1000 rupees. The fee of 59 rupees per unit in the category of 121 to 180 units has also been brought down to 50 rupees, and the new fixed fee is 1500 rupees. The rate for 89 rupees per unit for usage above 181 units has been reduced to 75 rupees. The monthly fee of that category will also come down from 2,360 rupees to 2,000 rupees. Along with this, electricity charges have also been reduced for religious places and charitable institutions. For the first 30 units, the fee of 12 rupees per unit has been reduced to 8 rupees, and the monthly fee, which was 180 rupees, has come down to 150 rupees. From 31 units to 90 units, the price of a unit, which was 24 rupees, has been reduced to 9 rupees, and the monthly fee, which was 300 rupees, will come down to 250 rupees. The price of a unit in the category of 91 to 120 units has been reduced to 18 rupees, and the price of a unit in the category of 121 to 180 units has been reduced to 32 rupees. In the case of 181 units or more, the price of a unit will be reduced from 59 rupees to 43 rupees, and the monthly fee will also be reduced to 2,000 rupees. Along with this, electricity rates for industries and hotels have also been lowered. Accordingly, for the category of 300 or less than 300 units, the price of a unit which was 20 rupees will go down to 13 rupees and 50 cents, and the price of a unit above 300 units will go down from 28 rupees to 21 rupees and 50 cents. Electricity charges have also been lowered for government institutions and public works. Accordingly, for the category below 180 units, the price of a unit which was 43 rupees will go down to 33 rupees, and the price of a unit above 180 units will go down from 56 to 43 rupees. Meanwhile, a 20% reduction in electricity charges for street lights has been approved.
මහජන අදහස් විමසීමේදීත් අපිට අවස්ථා කිහිපයකදීම ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේලා කතා කරලා කිව්වා ඒකේ විදුලි බිල්පත ගෙවන්නේ දායක සභාව. එතකොට ඒ දායකයන් සමහර තැන්වල කනකට උගස් කරලා සමහරලාට ඒ බිල්පත ගෙවනවා. එතකොට ඒක අපි සැලකිල්ලට අරගෙන එහෙම අඩු කිරීමක් සිදු කරා.
ආගමික ස්ථාන පමණක් නෙමෙයි මේක තියෙන ආගමික ස්ථාන සහ අනිකුත් චරිතවල කියන්නේ ළමා නිවාස වැඩිහිටි නිවාස මේ සියල්ලම මේ කැටගරි එකට අඩංගුයි.
In business news now, State Minister of Finance Shan Semasinga says that according to a survey by the United Nations Development Programme, several districts in the country are facing difficulties in adapting to the changes on account of the economic crisis.
Now, speaking at the event launch of the survey, the State Minister said that it is important that government incorporates the findings of the survey going forward to take preventative measures to build resilience in the future.
Now, joining the event, the resident representative of the UNDP in Sri Lanka, Azusa Kubotam, said that it is imperative that the UNDP and the government collaborate, utilizing these profiles and data to inform of the planning and monitoring processes of the country.
Firstly, by understanding what drives vulnerabilities in each and every district of Sri Lanka, it is possible to design profiles and policies and allocate budget that are geared towards addressing those particular drivers in each district. This approach would ensure that people are less at the risk of falling into multi-dimensional poverty. By understanding what these multiple drivers may be, such analysis provides an opportunity for policymakers and policies to be coordinated within regions and across sectors, and also to address challenges at all angles. It is vital for both government and development partners to consider area-based approaches to development policy going forward. And the district profile could certainly provide the analytics to inform this focused process. Further, by regularly calculating the MPI and MVI, it is possible to track multi-dimensional poverty and vulnerability over time and see how things are progressing or not progressing. The MBI will be mainstreamed, I hope, into official national statistics, and as has been the case in many countries in the region, such as the Maldives and Bhutan. We are currently working very closely with the Department of Census and Statistics, UNICEF colleagues, and OFI to institutionalize the MBI into upcoming national statistical exercises.
The district profiles presented today offer a glimpse into the diverse factors contributing to vulnerability in each district, highlighting the need for more targeted support. For instance, the multidimensional vulnerability analysis conducted by the UNDP reveals that several districts are hindered by a lack of adaptive capacity to disasters. Understanding vulnerability is crucial, as it enables us to take preemptive action to enhance community resilience against future shocks, ensuring they receive the necessary support to overcome challenges and thrive in the future. The district profiles presented today offer a glimpse into the diverse factors contributing to vulnerability in each different district. I think it was very clear, and also I was just asking Azusa also, this clearly gives a reflection of the impact of the economic crisis, especially during the peak of the crisis in 2022.
Taking you to the Colombo Stock Exchange, the Bourse commenced the week closing in positive territory, pivoting from the downward trend witnessed in the previous session. Market gained 114 points to end the session at 10,805. LOLC and John Keells were the top positive contributors, while select banking sector counters failed to perform well during the session. Notably, there was revitalized interest on retail-savvy shares such as Brown's Investment, Royal Ceramics and Haley's, which further contributed positively to the index. Meanwhile, turnover was recorded at 1.7 billion rupees, 7% higher than the monthly average of 1.6 billion rupees, contributed mainly by the capital goods sector and diversified financial sector, amounting to a joint contribution of 46%. Foreign investors remain net sellers, recording an outflow of 83.4 million rupees during today's trading session.
Here's Sajani Devapura from Capital Alliance Research on our next segment, Markets in Review.
In terms of the domestic equity market, we saw the ASPI increase around 36 points to 10,691.24 last week, while the S&P SL 20 decreased from 3,064.9 to 3,039.4 last week. Last week's total market turnover increased to 8.6 billion rupees, raising 126% compared to the previous week, owing to an increase in both local and foreign participation. Moving on to the Treasury bill auctions, the weighted average yields for the 3 months, 6 months and 12 months bills were 9.86%, 9.95% and 10.05% respectively, showing a fall in interest rates across the board. Furthermore, at this week's Treasury bill auction, the government aims to raise 160 billion rupees, with rates expected to reduce further. In the US markets, Nasdaq saw a 1.7% increase, while in commodities, oil prices climbed 3.4%, closing at $83.46 US, and gold prices increased by 2.4%, closing at $2,091.6.
Now, the Sri Lankan rupee, meanwhile, appreciated against the US dollar compared to Friday. The buying rate dropped from 304.71 to 303.81 against the greenback, while the selling rate reduced from 314.23 to 313.41. Here's a look at the dollar exchange rate. Well, the Youth Forum Leadership Summit 2024, hosted by the U.S. Embassy in Sri Lanka, commenced today in Colombo under the patronage of U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung. In other news, American Express card members across the globe have now been given the chance to enjoy discounts and experience Sri Lanka as a travel destination in 2024 with the Experience Sri Lanka campaign launched by a Nations Trust Bank in partnership with American Express. Now with that, here's a look at more corporate news in brief.
The Youth Forum Leadership Summit 2024, organised by the US Embassy in Sri Lanka, commenced today in Colombo. The summit serves as a platform for youth engagement and leadership development, featuring representatives from the 5 American spaces situated in Colombo, Kandy, Jaffna, Madara and Batticaloa, alongside delegations from across the South Asian region, including India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Maldives and Nepal. The event was graced by US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung, and the CEO of Hemas Holdings PLC, Kasturi Chellarajah.
We wanted each and every one of you to have the opportunity to share the best of each of your countries and learn from one another. And what better way to innovate and to learn something new? Now, here in Sri Lanka, we have established 5 American spaces where our youth forum networks come together, including one that we recently opened up in the east in Batticaloa in eastern Sri Lanka. These spaces serve as hubs for dialogue, innovation, collaboration, fostering connections among youth leaders across the country and beyond.
Have it in you that you've never reached the top. It's always up to you to redefine your outcomes. No point in us being passionate alone. We need to influence change around us. And you need to influence change around region. You need to work together.
In other news, American Express card members across the globe have been given the opportunity to experience Sri Lanka as a travel destination in 2024 with the Experience Sri Lanka campaign launched by Nations Trust Bank in partnership with American Express. The campaign aims to showcase scenic views and experiences that the island has to offer. In addition, American Express card members holidaying in the country are able to enjoy savings of up to 20% at shopping outlets, stays at hotels and other offers at popular restaurants. In other similar news, Ceno Foundation Limited unveiled its revamped website, signalling a strategic move towards global outreach and enhanced digital engagement. The newly launched Ceno website is a testament to the company's commitment to transparency, innovation, and customer-centric philosophy. Visitors can seamlessly navigate through Ceno's diverse offerings and leverage efficient communication channels for inquiries and support.
This is a news alert on Ada Derana 24.
Well, there's a news alert to bring to your attention. Earlier on, we spoke to you about the reduction in electricity tariffs, and now...
Certainly, now we have news just in, an update on the fuel prices. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has announced a reduction in fuel prices with effect from midnight tonight. Mahesh has the latest release for you.
Exactly. 95 octane. Earlier it was 456 rupees. It has been reduced by 9 rupees and the new price is 447 rupees. Super diesel was 468 rupees, reduced by 10 rupees, and the new prices are 458. And also kerosene oil, 262 rupees was the earlier price. Apparently it has been reduced with 5 rupees and the new price is 257. 92 petrol octane remains the same at 371, and also diesel, the normal diesel stands at 363. Those prices has not been revised by the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. That's basically the revised of petrol prices from tonight.
Reduced from tonight. So I think we had a few news items on reduction of tariffs. And the latest we were able to share with you. Moving on to our headline-making story again. Officials of the central bank were summoned before the cabinet today to scrutinize the salary increase of central bank employees.
Now, this development transpired as a result of overwhelming pressure on the question of a 70% salary hike for a government institution amidst an economic crisis.
Speaking to media, officers of the central bank said that this was the minimum wage increase provided to employees, taking into account the history of the central bank.
According to the Central Bank Act, central bank employees recently increased their salary by 70%, which resulted in controversy and widespread backlash among members of society. This move was also heavily criticised by parliamentarians of both the ruling party and the opposition. As a result, officials of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, after expressing their cooperation to do so, were summoned to the cabinet meeting held today. During the meeting, the CBSL officials were inquired about the process and the rationale behind the recent salary hike provided to its employees with no prior notice to the responsible authorities. Following the meeting, CBSL officials gathered for a media briefing.
සේවකයන්ට ලැබිච්ච වැටුප් වැඩිවීම තියෙන්නේ 124කුත් 132කුත් අතර කියන පරාසය. ඒ කියන්නේ වැඩි වෙච්ච වැඩිවීමෙන් සෑහෙන කොටසක් දේශීය ආදායම් දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව හරහා නැවතත් මහා භාණ්ඩාගාරයට බදු වශයෙන් අපගෙන් අඩු වෙලා යනවා. අපේ සේවකයන් සමස්ත ප්‍රමාණය 1200ක් වගේ ඉතා කුඩා ප්‍රමාණයක්. ඉතින් ඒනොත් නිලධාරීන් සිටින 600ක් වැනි ප්‍රමාණයක් එයින් 100කට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක් ඒ කියන්නේ 6න් එකක් අවුරුදු එකමාරක් තුන ඉවත් වෙලා ගියා නම් මේ වෙලාවෙත් මේ පඩි වැඩිවීම නොකළා නම් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ ඇත්තටම කුමක්ද මේ පිරිසුණු තවත් විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් සේවයෙන් ඉවත් වෙලා ගිහිල්ලා මහ බැංකුවේ කටයුතු පවත්වාගෙන යාමට බැරි තත්ත්වයකට පත් වෙනවා. ඒතරම අතීතයේ සේවකයන්ට ලැබිච්ච පඩි වැඩිවීම එක්ක බලද්දී ඉතිහාසයේ ලැබිච්ච අඩුම් වැටුප් වැඩිවීමක් තමයි සේවකයන්ට ලැබිලා තියෙන්නේ.
Additionally, Chairman of the Committee on Public Finance, Dr. Harsha De Silva, added that the CBSL officials were also summoned before the Committee on Public Finance tomorrow for further clarifications pertaining to the relevant matter.
මම ගරු මන්ත්‍රීවරු 225 දෙනාටම දැනුම් දීලා තියෙනවා ඔවුන්ට අවශ්‍ය නම් මුදල් කාර්ක සභාවට එන්න පුළුවන් කියලා විවෘත අවස්ථාවක් ඔවුනුත් අපෙන් ඉල්ලා තිබ්බා මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ත් ඉල්ලා තිබ්බා ඒ අවස්ථාව අඟහරුවාතර දෙනවා.
Well, we also have some good news for you. Sri Lanka just defeated Bangladesh in the first T20 by 3 runs, and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, the tally now stands with Sri Lanka 1-0 in the lead in the series.
It's a day of good news, isn't it, for Sri Lanka? Lots of good news.
That we were able to read it out to you.
Well, that's all the time we have for you tonight on First at 9. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Mahish Johnny.
And I'm Indibri Amuatta. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit adhaderana.lk.